You begged them to stay. You pleaded for their love like your life depended on it. And they rejected you anyway. Good. That rejection just saved your entire future. Listen to me carefully. The person who makes you beg for their attention was never going to give you what you truly need. Never. John Bowlby, the father of attachment theory, discovered something profound. We often recreate our earliest wounds in our adult relationships. When you beg someone for love, you're not asking them to love you. You're asking them to heal a wound that was never theirs to heal. If this feels like I'm reading your mind, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments what you struggle to say no to the most. I read every single comment, and your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Here's what really happened when they rejected you. They freed you from a prison you didn't even know you were building. Because begging for love isn't love. It's emotional survival mode. It's your nervous system screaming, "Please don't abandon me," based on patterns formed when you were too young to understand that love shouldn't require begging. Think about it. When you beg someone for their time, their affection, their commitment, now what are you really saying? You're saying, "I believe I'm not worthy of receiving love freely." You're saying, "I'll take crumbs because I don't believe I deserve the whole meal." That's not love. That's desperation wearing love's mask. Bowlby taught us that secure attachment feels calm, not frantic. It feels chosen, not desperate. Real love doesn't require you to convince anyone of your worth. It doesn't ask you to shrink yourself into something more palatable. It doesn't make you feel like you're constantly auditioning for a role you'll never get. The person who rejected you after you begged, they were never your person. They were a mirror, reflecting back your deepest fear, that you're not enough. But here's the truth they couldn't give you. You were always enough. You just gave your power to someone who was never qualified to hold it. That rejection wasn't punishment. It was protection. It was life saying, "Not this one," because life has been preparing something better. Not a better person necessarily, but a better version of love. One where you don't have to beg. One where your worth isn't up for negotiation. I know it doesn't feel like freedom right now. It feels like abandonment. It feels like proof that you're unlovable. But that's your attachment system speaking, not reality. Your attachment system learned early that love is scarce, that you have to fight for it, earn it, prove you deserve it. That system is trying to protect you, but it's using outdated information. Here's what freedom actually looks like. It's the moment you stop chasing people who run from your love. It's the moment you realize that someone's inability to see your worth says nothing about your worth and everything about their capacity. It's the moment you understand that the right person won't make you beg. They'll be grateful you chose them. The rejection you're mourning was never about you being not enough. It was about them being unable to recognize enough when it was standing right in front of them. Their loss, literally. And now? Now you get to learn what it feels like to love someone who loves you back, without conditions, without begging, without proof. That someone starts with you. You get to practice giving yourself the unconditional acceptance you were begging them for. You get to discover that the love you were desperately seeking outside yourself was inside you all along, waiting for you to stop looking everywhere else. That rejection was disguised freedom because it freed you from someone who would have kept you small. It freed you from a dynamic where your worth was constantly questioned. It freed you from the exhausting job of convincing someone to love you. You don't need to be chosen by someone who makes you beg. You need to choose yourself so completely that begging becomes impossible. Because when you know your worth, you don't audition for love, you simply exist in it. The person who rejected you after you begged gave you the greatest gift they ever could have. They showed you exactly who they were, someone who could watch you beg and still walk away. That's not love. That's not even kindness. That's someone doing you a favor they don't even know they're doing. Your freedom starts the moment you stop trying to convince people to love you and start living in a way that makes you impossible to ignore by the right person. The moment you stop begging for crumbs and start expecting the whole meal. The moment you realize that rejection from the wrong person is redirection toward the right life. But let me tell you something else about this so-called rejection. The person who made you beg, they taught you something invaluable about yourself. They taught you how much love you're capable of giving. They taught you how deeply you can care, how willing you are to fight for connection, That capacity for love, that's not weakness. That's your superpower. You just gave it to the wrong person. The problem was never that you loved too much. The problem was that you loved someone who couldn't match your depth. You brought ocean-level love to someone living in a puddle. And when they couldn't contain it, couldn't reciprocate it, couldn't even recognize it, you thought the problem was you. You thought you needed to love less, beg more, make yourself smaller. No. The problem was never your love. The problem was their capacity. Think about what Bowlby discovered about attachment styles. People with avoidant attachment, the ones who make you beg, they learned early that emotional needs are dangerous. They learned that wanting too much gets you hurt. So they shut down. They create distance. They make love feel like a negotiation instead of a gift. When you begged them, you weren't just asking for love. You were asking them to override their entire nervous system, to go against everything they learned about how relationships work. You were asking them to heal in real time while you were drowning. That's not fair to either of you. The rejection happened because two incompatible attachment styles collided. Your anxious system saying, "Please don't leave me," crashed into their avoidant system saying, "I need space to breathe." Neither of you was wrong. You just weren't right for each other. And that rejection, it protected both of you from years of this same painful dance. Here's what I want you to understand. The person who's right for you won't trigger your attachment wounds. They won't make you feel like you're too much. They won't make you question whether you deserve love. They'll meet your love with their own, effortlessly, naturally, like it's the most obvious thing in the world. That person exists, but you'll never find them while you're still trying to convince the wrong person to love you. You'll never recognize secure love while you're still addicted to the anxiety of insecure love. You'll never experience the peace of being chosen while you're still chasing someone who runs from your choosing. The rejection was disguised freedom because it broke the cycle. It ended the exhausting loop of giving your power away to someone who didn't know what to do with it. It saved you from becoming a smaller version of yourself to fit into someone else's limited capacity for love. And now you get to do the real work, not the work of becoming more lovable. You were always lovable. The work of becoming more secure. The work of healing your attachment wounds, so you stop being attracted to people who can't love you back. The work of recognizing red flags, instead of seeing them as challenges to overcome. That rejection saved you years of begging for love from someone who was never going to give it freely. It saved you from a relationship where you would have spent your energy trying to earn what should have been given. It saved you from loving someone who would have kept you in a constant state of proving your worth. Now you're free to find someone who will see your worth immediately and never make you question it. Someone who won't need convincing. Someone who will choose you as enthusiastically as you choose them. Someone who will make you understand why it never worked with anyone else. The rejection was your rescue. Trust it. Honor it. Let it redirect you toward the love you actually deserve.